Welcome to the Raptors shot chart. I'm your host, William Liu. Today, we are looking at Malachi Flynn, who had a career-high 20 points and 11 assists in a win against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And specifically, I'm looking at his pick-and-roll play, both his scoring and his assists. So let's watch. Okay, so early in the game, the Raptors made a concerted effort to attack Kevin Love. He's just coming back from being injured, and also he's old and he's Kevin Love. So the Raptors are going to try to put Kevin Love in an action here where they got the dribble handoff between Bembry and Flynn right here, and then they flip that quickly into a pick and roll between Boucher and Flynn. Now you'll see right here that Love is not well positioned. He's a little bit high, and Boucher gets a really good screen on Flynn's defender, which is Darius Garland. And so when they come off the screen right here, so Love is backpedaling already. Now he's in good position, but there's a big area here for that pocket pass to go to, and Flynn throws that pass early to Boucher. And really at that point, it's really just a bet that Boucher is going to be able to beat Love to the basket. And yeah, I mean, Love turns his body. He's really slow here. He's trying to cut him off, but Boucher, as you can see, can get to his spot, and he goes in for the reverse finish. That's good pick and roll play, very standard stuff. And again, more to the theme of attacking Kevin Love. So this is after the Raptors had a pick and roll here between Boucher and Flynn. It seems like the Cavs switched, so they had Sexton, the guard, going against Boucher. And this time Malachi decides to hold on to the ball instead of giving the ball up to Boucher because he knows he can attack Kevin Love. So let's see what happens right here, right? So he's got Kevin Love on the perimeter, and he's going to do a little crossover, and then he's going to sort of hesitate there, the little hezzy, and looks like he's about to pick up the ball, but instead he's actually going for an inside out dribble with his right hand. That fools Kevin Love. Love dives at the attempt. And yeah, Flynn 1-2 to the basket. All right, so that's another really nice play by Flynn coming off the pick and roll here. So you'll see the screen to get him to his left. It seems like Flynn is better going to his left at the moment. They keep setting screens for him to go towards his left. You see Boucher is here. He's going to screen off Garland, and then he's going to try to go downhill against Kevin Love. Now, in this situation, Love does a pretty good job of playing the gap properly. If the pass goes to Boucher, maybe Boucher can beat Love to the spot as he did earlier in the game. But it seems like Love's in pretty good position. He's cutting him off. And Garland did a pretty good job fighting through, staying attached to Flynn's hip. But this is where Flynn uses his very savvy move right here, where he sort of leans himself into Garland to sort of give himself just a little bit of penetration. You see that almost a little excuse me kind of brush off, and then he will land on his left. He'll land on his left foot and take off at an angle, so that this way Garland has to close out even longer to get to his shot. And Flynn has this patented floater down. He really loved to use it in college. He hasn't used it as much in the NBA, but this is a really nice floater. And yeah, you can see he's quick with it. He's able to get it off. That little bit of bumping / jumping at an odd angle prevents Garland from being able to get to the shot. And yeah, it's a contested shot for sure, but it's also one that Flynn's really practiced. You can see he's actually got pretty good balance as he's releasing it. And yeah, nice touch there. Just a nice bucket. All right, that's really beautiful. And this is a stretch here where Flynn was able to get multiple assists to OG Anunoby. So what you'll see here is, so again, another screen for Malachi to get to his left, this time coming up from Freddie Gillespie, the 10-day contract, who played really well in his debut. So you got the screen here. First off, really good positioning there by Gillespie. You'll see he's a little bit low at this point, but he'll readjust his body to come up a little bit higher so that this way he ensures that Garland is going to get screened on this play. And that's a really good screen right there. Garland is behind. Now it's a bit of a 2-on-1 situation, and you'll see that when there is a bit of a 2-on-1 situation, the help defense is going to draw towards the basket. So you'll see that right here, Cedi Osman is sort of a step towards the paint. That makes sense because Stanley's not a threat to shoot. But you also see Kevin Love as the low man leaves OG in the corner, anticipating the pick and roll pass to Gillespie. And so at this point, Flynn is reading the play. You can see his head. He's already surveying what's going on this side of the floor. It seems like he really wants to make a play on that side. And so you'll see Flynn dribbles in that one extra dribble to sort of wait for the play to develop. He's waiting for Gillespie to roll deep to occupy Love here. And then Flynn is gonna then take one more dribble, freeze the entire defense. And yeah, at that point, that last dribble was almost unnecessary, to be honest. OG was open for much of that game. And yeah. OG's wide open, nice little pass, corner three. All right, so that's almost the exact same play to OG. A little bit different this time. The spacing a little different. This is an empty side pick and roll. Before there was a shooter on that side. This time it's just Flynn and Freddie Gillespie trying to attack the left side of the floor. Again, a screen on the ball to get Flynn moving towards his left, which seems to be most of the plays. A really good screen there. If you just look at Freddie in terms of, look at that screen. I mean, Garland is getting mashed on that screen. And so, yeah, he's behind the play. That's a 2-on-1 situation. And once again, you'll notice Kevin Love is pulling over off of OG in the corner where you can't actually see him here. But he's helping off once again because, again, he's anticipating that once Flynn turns downhill, once Freddie Gillespie is going towards the basket, someone's going to need to help to get to the center here. You'll see Okoro's also helping off of Gary Trent, which doesn't really make much sense to me. This guy literally made 17 of 19 shots, but okay. But you'll see Flynn right here. Again, he's got his head up. He knows his options. There is a pass here. There's maybe a pass here if he waits a little bit longer, but the ultimate goal is to get to OG in the corner. And you'll see here, so Freddie rolls hard, and Flynn uses that really well to his advantage because he keeps his dribble alive, crosses over in the lane, right? Allows the defense to sort of come towards the entire paint. There's 4 guys in the paint at this point. And then Flynn's kind of looking at Trent, and Okoro's realizing, oh shit, I gotta close out the Gary Trent. But Flynn throws the even better pass to OG in the corner. Really good shot preparation. Kevin Love is trying to close out, but he's really old, and yeah, I mean, he tried really hard on that, but, you know. Okay, so this is a bit of a bailout shot, I would say. So here, Flynn and Boucher are working a late shot clock situation. There's only 9 seconds left on the clock here. He's going to come off the high pick and roll here and drive, engage the defender just a little bit, and kick out to Boucher. Now, at this point, the Raptors have been missing a couple of threes, and the Cavs have been making a push. So this is why Boucher doesn't take this shot. Normally, Boucher would take this shot, but he had missed the 3 earlier in the quarter. So even though this is a very good look for Boucher, he decides not to take that shot. It's also a pretty good closeout by Hartenstein, too. He doesn't fully commit to the closeout, and instead he's in good position to contain the drive. So Boucher makes a smart play there. If he's not going to take the shot, reset once again and do the same thing over again, right? So at this point, it's 6 seconds left. He's going to dribble and he's going to pitch it back to Flynn. And Flynn at this point realizes he's taking a look at the shot clock. You see his eyes, you can see the shot clock. And what he's going to do is he's going to come off that pick and roll here, and he's just going to realize, look, this is the best shot he's going to be able to get. And again, I would say a pretty, you know, it's a pretty tough shot to take this shot specifically, but also it's good recognition by Flynn to just say, look, this is probably the best shot I'm going to get in this possession. I would have preferred, if Boucher wasn't going to take that 3, then I would have preferred if Boucher screened a little bit harder here off of Garland to create a little bit more separation for Flynn. Instead, it looks like Boucher slipping the screen, which he does quite often, and trying to get free for his own shot. Listen, if you didn't take that first shot, then really try to help Malachi here and get a little more separation. But Malachi, good shot preparation, one hard dribble, right foot down, left foot down. And honestly, when he actually releases the ball, it's not, I mean, it's a tough shot, but it's also a shot that he's going to have to get comfortable with, because this is a shot that Kyle Lowry takes all the time. This is a shot that Fred VanVleet takes all the time. And really, if you're going to be a good pick and roll point guard in the modern NBA, the pull up 3 off a high screen with half a contest, although this is more like, you know, this is almost a full contest by the 2 guys here. You got to be able to make that shot. And Flynn, good elevation on that shot. And Oh, that's so nice. That's nice on multiple levels. Well, first off, it's great, terrible defense by the Cavs. But so here's the Raptors run a pick and roll here with Hood on the ball. So that's not normal. They don't usually use Hood as the screener. But what they're trying to do here is create a switch. And so the Cavs must have been switching in this sort of situation. So you'll see that Flynn's man, Colin Sexton, is going to go to Rodney Hood instead. And that Dean Wade, who is a 6'9" forward, he's going to come out and guard Flynn. Now, this is a good situation for the Raptors because, look, I think Malachi knows that he can beat Dean Wade off the dribble. He did it earlier in this game. So he's going to call for that pick and roll here with Freddie Gillespie. And he's going to, look, you know, he's going to call for that pick and roll. He's going to, you know, you see right there, he's like, come screen. Freddie's like, okay, I'm going to come screen. And then Dean Wade's going to sort of open his body up just to sort of anticipate him going for that screen. But instead, really quick crossover by Malachi. You can see how much he's got both defenders crossed over in the situation, right? Because they're both anticipating him going to his left. Most of this game, he's going to go to his left. But instead of going to his left, he crosses back over. And look at both these guys. These guys are both toast just off that one pick and roll right there. And Flynn could have given that pass to Freddie, but also at the same time, he sees that open lane and he's looking towards the corner. You see his head right there. He's looking at Stanley Johnson in the corner. Taurean Prince is here guarding 3 guys on his own. And he sort of does a little pass fake right there. You'll see that little pass fake to the corner, but instead it's a little Euro step, fake the pass, cross, you know, back into the lane, and then, yeah. All right, this is a bit lucky, I would say. The defense had Flynn, you know, in pretty good position here, so they choose not to switch the Cavs on this play. Colin Sexton does a pretty good job of chasing over the top. 2 screens that I would say weren't that effective. To be honest, Flynn could have run a little bit closer to the screens because he's sort of a little bit distance. He's leaving that gap. He's not going close enough to Stanley right there. He could be a little bit further over, and that would really ensure that Sexton gets clipped. But Sexton does a really good job of competing. The second screen right there, so instead of screening and getting the separation, Freddie decides to slip the screen instead, which means to not actually screen, and he's gonna go for that quick roll instead, which is not a bad option here. Like, I think this could have been a good situation where Flynn could maybe dump it off to Freddie Gillespie here, maybe with a little bit more experience. That pass is there, and the reason that to make this pass in particular is that if Freddie gets this pass, takes one hard dribble, he's going to engage Dean Wade right here, who's already a step over looking to help in the paint. And if that's the case, then Freddie can then throw one more pass to Yuta in the corner. Nobody's going to be able to close out to that, and then Yuta can hit the open corner 3. But instead, Flynn, you know, chooses to hold on to the ball, and that's a bit of a mistake because at this point the defense has him pretty locked up. There's 3 defenders in this area, 4 defenders really if you want to count Taurean Prince, who's also facing him. But Flynn, you know, he's gonna pivot just a little bit, he's sort of throw the defense off, and he's just gonna look at it like, you know what, if this guy right here, Isaiah Hartenstein, if he's gonna back off me just a little bit, that shot is gonna be open for me. I don't know what he was doing for specifically, but Flynn, good recognition right there. And yeah, goes up for the little short push floater, and it goes in. That's a bit of a breakdown by the Cavs defense after they played pretty good D, but that's a situation actually where Flynn could have passed it to Freddie. But again, they literally just met today. Yeah, so that's great. So first off, another great screen by Freddie Gillespie. This time, again, trying to get Malachi to his left. You'll keep seeing this happen, but Freddie's going to come up and set the screen, and he's going to set a screen. This is a better screen than the one previously with Stanley, because you'll see that Freddie is very close and very tight. And in fact, if you look at the technique of his screen, he's moving his feet, he's shuffling his feet, and then he's stopping right there and almost leaning into his guy. That's a good screener right there, because you got to be a little bit illegal when you screen that well. Now, the thing is, Colin Sexton literally fights the man and knocks down Freddie, but because that screen was so good, now, you know, Flynn has a mismatch against a center, and this, you know, Isaiah is kind of playing him to drive. The last few possessions, Flynn has driven, but Flynn's just looking at it like, okay, I got the big on me. The paint is not really that open, even if he beat his man there. Stanley's not really helping the spacing on the floor because he's bringing his man in the situation. Taurean Prince might also affect it, although to be honest, open pass to Yuta is not a bad option here. And Flynn just takes one little extra dribble to assess his time and just says, I'm going to pull up. And yeah, that's a pretty good closeout altogether by the Cavs still. But yeah, Malachi, he needs to be able to take that pull-up three when the defense drops to punish the defense. And he's a good enough shooter to do it. So again, this is a shot that Fred will take, the shot that Kyle will take. Flynn takes that shot, and yeah. See, this is a shot that I don't mind whatsoever, and I think a lot of people don't like the mid-range shot. This is what you would say maybe a little bit of settling, but look, 12 seconds left on the shot clock. The offense on the floor, I mean, there's not that much of it for the Raptors. So Malachi's going to come off this, pick and roll here with Boucher, again going to his left, always going to his left. And this time, Isaiah Hartenstein's a little bit higher than before. He's up to the three-point line now. Obviously, you just saw Flynn burn him with the three earlier, so not a bad idea to come up a little higher here. Clearly, Flynn can shoot. Flynn's going to give him a little bit of a crossover, get him backpedaling, and then sort of assess his options here. Again, he's going to see that four defenders are in good help position here. Seems like Freddie Gillespie is going to roll, so that's going to make even less space for Flynn to drive. So he's going to take one more dribble and just go into the pull-up. And as you see, when he goes into the pull-up, he's wide open because he's got the defender tracking. And so he's got a lot of space here to take this shot. And even though the closeout, doesn't really come, even if it did come with Isaiah, I think this is a good shot just because Malachi is in rhythm. He's coming off that screen. He's assessing that little hard jab with his right, plant his foot, and then just go up for the shot. This is a shot I feel like more point guards should take. Just because this is usually a shot that's open for guys. And you would say, well, listen, you can't really just subsist off of only mid-range shots, but this is a good shot. I don't know. I don't really care what people say. That's a good shot. And I like Flynn taking that shot. Wow. Yeah, this is one of those plays that makes you say, wow, when you actually see it happen in real time. So you're going to get the double screen right here off the top, which the Raptors run a lot. And you're going to have Yuta set the first screen and Freddie Gillespie set the second screen for Malachi coming to his left. They love getting him to his left. But as you'll notice, when they ran the same play earlier, Freddie Gillespie also slipped to the basket. And so this time they've switched roles. Yuta's the first screener, but the first screener is going to dive. And the second screener is going to be the one actually staying around to set the screen for the ball. And so you'll see the defense right now probably should communicate a little bit better here. I think, Kevin Love should probably be telling Taurean Prince to not be so high up on that screen. He's aggressively high, and Yuta reads that really well, slips it. And at this point, what Flynn is noticing is that, look, that pass is not normally to this man slipping. Normally, he would still come around the pick and roll here. Normally, the defense would be a lot better than this. But what Malachi is seeing right away is how much empty space there is if he just floats that pass over the top. Kevin Love's not in a position here to intercept because he's more concerned with the ball. And Dean Wade is in the corner, probably guarding Stanley Johnson. And, he could help, and he ultimately does help, but he's a step late. And Flynn identifies this, reads this really well. Nice little floating pass, guiding Yuta right to the spot so that when he catches the ball, even though Dean Wade is there also to make the play, Yuta can just not even take a dribble, just jump into the play. And you'll see that right there. Yuta will just use his athleticism and just go up strong for that dunk. That's a really nice play. And again, even if Dean Wade was a little bit quicker with that help, Yuta's a really good passer and he can just kick it to OG in the corner. So, but really, it's bad defense up top, but it's also a really good pass to make sure he delivers it to the spot. Yuta doesn't have to take a dribble, and yeah, good finish by Yuta. Yeah, very simple play here. But again, I would say first off, really good screen by Freddie Gillespie. Again, you just see, look at Garland bouncing off this man. Just knock him off, and now it's a 2-on-1 situation with Flynn driving downhill against Love, and also Freddie coming over to help. You got a strong shooter in OG in the weak side in the weak side corner here. So if the pass, were to go to Freddie and then Dean Wade were to go into the paint, the one skip pass over to OG, and that's an open corner shot. So you'll see Flynn right here. So he'll come off the screen. Take an inside out dribble again with his right hand, the same move that he used to freeze Kevin Love earlier in this game. And he used that again to sort of freeze Kevin Love. You can see Kevin Love's balance is not good. Like you'll see here that he's very strong on his left leg, but he's also very weak on his right leg. Seems like he wants to turn because, I don't know, he's anticipating something from Flynn. And yeah, Flynn drops a little bounce pass. He reads that Love is kind of frozen in that situation. He's not in a good position to slide his feet. Also, again, Kevin Love is like, you know, he's mad old and he's never that good of a defender. So little drop off pass to Freddie, rolling hard. And yeah, I mean, the defense ultimately does converge. I wouldn't mind the kick out to the 3 here, but I think maybe that's just from watching Aaron Baines all season. Like Baines would have 100% missed this opportunity here that's semi-contested. But Freddie's young. He's going to go up strong for his first career basket. Good touch there with the right to finish. Oh, wow. Wow, that's really good execution. Look at Kevin Love slamming the ball. Damn, Kevin. Actually, let's just look at Kevin Love slamming the ball again, okay? We'll break down the play in a second, but just look at this man. He's done with this team. He's been done with this team for like 4 years, man. Anyway, okay, so coming out the floor here, you're going to have a pin down here with Gary Trent Jr. trying to receive the ball around the down screen from Freddie Gillespie here. Now, this is one of those rare screens Freddie didn't actually connect on fully because you'll see that Okoro does a really good job of coming up. I would say, honestly, Gary Trent also came up really high for that shot. Like, he doesn't need to come up this high. He can maybe stay a little bit lower. But in any case, he comes out to receive the ball. That's fine. A little dribble handoff back to Flynn. And now you're going to get Freddie setting a screen. Again, another screen that's a little bit of a miss. I would say Okoro did a really good job just getting through that. But again, it seems like the Raptors want to run this action once again, where you got Gillespie screening for a defender and also for Gary Trent Jr. to come up and get a shot here. And so the Cavs actually read it pretty well. Darius Garland's going to race up top to try to deny Gary from even using the screen. But Gary does a really smart play here. He takes that one step. You can see the one where he has a really long sock. He's going to take that one step with his left foot planted hard to get Darius Garland to bite on the fake. Then he's going to cut the other way. Flynn is very smart. He's looking at this whole thing developing. And he really only has a small window here because Okoro's cutting off most of this space right here. And Flynn can really only slide that pass through with his right hand. And it's got to be a bullet because, you know, Kevin Love is also a guy who's also in position to help. And you'll see Flynn right here. The timing is really good. Boom. Right on the money. Right past the outstretched arm of Kevin Love there. If he just threw it a little bit ahead, Love probably would have deflected it. But he throws it right on the money, right past where Love was going to be. And then, yeah, Gary Trent, go strong to the rim. You know, I would say, honestly, Sexton gave pretty good help here. But, you know, Gary Trent's larger and yeah, it's a layup. So, great passing all around, honestly. And again, that Kevin Love, look at that frustration, man. Damn. I mean, listen, man, Kevin's going to get paid $60 million in the next 2 years. Like, you can't be that mad. But in any case, yeah, I thought Malachi played a really good game. I think his distributions are really good. His pick and roll play, obviously, he likes to go to his left and he likes to go downhill. And I think the more that he's able to go downhill and sort of probe, the more he's going to be able to have plays like the kick out to OG for 3 or these other little plays. I am interested to see how he pairs with Freddie Gillespie. Obviously, he hasn't had a guy who's like a big, strong pick and roll finisher, guy, someone who could go downhill towards the basket, finish through contact, set a good screen on top of that. Boucher is a guy who can pick and pop. He can pick and roll as well, but he's mostly going to slip. He's not necessarily a guy who's going to crush guys on screens the way Freddie is. And the other guy who does crush guys on screens is Aaron Baines, but I mean, he's also Aaron Baines. So I thought, you know, Malachi did a really good job. He was really awesome in this game. There's a lot of defensive plays to break down too, but he did a really good job and the Raptors won. So thanks everyone for watching. Again, if you like this video, like the video, share the video, and please let me know your feedback on what could be improved in these videos, because I really want to use these as sort of like, you know, scrap versions to eventually get to the final finished product. So thanks everyone for watching, and see you after the next game.